here we are at Ice Mountain Zone. Bit of a plain name, but a lovely stage. Good music, too. This time around, we're playing as Amy, who can grind on rails like Sonic, but good lord, that looks uncomfortable. That would be bad enough on a normal rail, but that's a rail made of ice. You know what, we're not going to think about that. Anyway, Amy plays the most differently out of all the characters. She does not have a safe spin dash, instead she has that little hop forward. It does, of course, give her a little bit of extra speed, a little bit of extra momentum, so that you can tackle inclines and whatnot, so, you know, a very similar purpose to the spin dash, only without the protection of it. And of course she also doesn't ball up when she jumps as well. Instead, you have to be a little bit more active when you're jumping on enemies and press the B button to use Amy's Pico Pico hammer, like so. So yeah, if you're not too confident with timing your jumps, Amy's probably the least safe character to play. I definitely didn't like playing as her as a child, but honestly I liked her here. But more on that after the special stage. So, once again, I'm gonna talk about the good points of the special stage. After, of course, I mentioned the fact that, yeah, like I said last episode, they're not alternating. This one is in Act 1. The special stage spring was also in Act 1 in the previous stage as well. So, haha, fooled you. Anyway, though, yes, things I like about the special stage. Amy's animation. Not that one. Okay, so I like most of Amy's animations, other than the rail slide one and that one. I don't know why Sonic Team was obsessed with giving Amy panty shots around this period. I wish they would stop. It's weird and creepy. But yeah, well, they have stopped by now, but I mean just in general around this period. I would like for them to have stopped. If they can hear me in the past, please quit it. Anyway, good points. Just generally the aesthetic is very good. The falling Chow is always amusing. I love that animation. But yeah, notice that the color of the stage itself is actually different in every special stage. It is actually the color of the Chaos Emerald we get. So we'll see in just a moment that we have the green special stage, and from this we get the green emerald. That tiny smile's adorable. So that's pretty cool. So that combined with the fact that, like, each character gets their own board, and, you know, in general all the characters have their own animation specific to the special stage, it's pretty good. I think a lot of work went into making those special stages look good. Unfortunately, they don't play as well as they look, and also, part of looking good should be good depth perception, but they didn't do that. Anyway, so yes, Amy. Did not care for playing as her because she was so different, and yeah, definitely she is the least safe to play as, and if you're used to Sonic games, she can be a bit confounding just because normally all you would have to do to kill that penguin is press A and move over it, or, you know, whatever your jump button is. Here you have to press A and then B when you're over it, so again, a little more work, but I don't think that makes her too bad, really. When you're not being fussy about it, they're really not huge changes that make her impossible to play or anything, just different. I think she also jumps a little higher to offset, you know, her lack of anything else. Since she does play differently from Sonic and can't fly like Tails or Knuckles, she can jump a little bit higher. And of course, just the stuff with the hammer is actually pretty fun. Like, the hammer's got a good amount of weight to it for this game. Just bopping enemies like that is really fun. Just look at the... Even though that wasn't a huge hit, look at the momentum I got off that jump. It's definitely a little more satisfying than even the, just spin jump. It's not spin jump. Just the normal Sonic jump. I know what a homing attack is, but that's completely different. Also, right here is an extra life. Oh, and I can't believe I didn't mention this, but yeah, this is also the underwater stage. We'll talk more about that later, though. We're at the end of this stage, and that is a good victory animation. Alright, Ice Mountain Zone Act 2 has one of the more different songs for its second act compared to the first. Some of the Act 1 and 2's for stages sound kinda similar, but this one's a completely different mood. Act 1 is very relaxing and pleasant. This one's a bit more upbeat. I love them both, but I think I like this one better? Honestly, it's hard to tell since they do convey such different moods, but you know what? At the speed I'm going, I think Act 2's song is pretty fitting. Also, I know I said the stage looks good, but I'm just gonna say, hey, the tile set's pretty good, and that background's gorgeous. I love that background. That's a real good background. I don't like ice level gimmicks, but snow and ice levels always look lovely. It is an aesthetic that I love, and yeah, as long as a game's not too heavy with ice mechanics, the snow stages aren't too bad. By the way, surprise! Guess what? There's 2 special stages in this zone. This one's a little easier to find, and it is in Act 2, so if you were following a pattern, you'll end up finding this special stage. And at the very least, the Chaos Emeralds do show up in order. So, if you completed the previous zone special stage but missed Act 1 in here, you will have enough info to go off of to check 2 different stages, because if you get this Chaos Emerald, you'll know, oh, I missed one because the designers were jerks and just decided to put a special stage, or 2 special stages in a zone. So then you just have to go to either Casino Paradise Act 2 or Ice Mountain Zone 1. In this case, it's the latter you need to go to. But you know, I think by this point I've said all I can about the special stages. I mean, they all play one way, they just get more and more difficult. I'm sure you've noticed some of the very rude moves that this special stage has pulled, and boy, it is easy to hit the mines at this point, and you do need to realize that you can center yourself with the A button. But also, you shouldn't center yourself if you're too far in the corner. And of course, you definitely need to have mastered the trick through the gold barrier by this point, because look at that. I did pretty well, but I only have 9 over par. If I had 10 fewer rings, then I would not have passed that special stage. These get very tricky, which is unfortunate, because again, this game's special stages aren't great because they have a lot of problems with playing them at a base level. Oh well. It's tough but not impossible. Anyway, can use that spring to bounce back up here so we don't have to lose any progress. I should of course mention, this game works with the usual water stage rules. All of the characters can drown. If they stay underwater too long, you'll get that classic horrifying drowning theme, and then about 10 seconds until you die. The timer says 5, but every second is really more like 2 seconds. However, Amy and Sonic can't swim. Tails and Knuckles actually have ways to deal with this. Tails can do a doggy paddle instead of fly when underwater, and Knuckles, when he hits the surface, will actually just wait at the top until you press the A button to submerge. So they're actually good for this boss, where Eggman will try to drop icicles on you, and also you're underwater, so while you need to use the icicles to hit Eggman, you do also need to use them as platforms to not die. Of course, thanks to Amy's hammer, this boss actually becomes way more easy, because she doesn't actually need the icicles to get enough height to hit Eggman. So, you will probably need to go to the surface like once in order to not drown. Other than that, it's a pretty easy boss for Amy. She actually works really well here. So, that's all over and done with, and yet another good victory animation for Amy. If nothing else, she has the best animations in the game, other than, you know, the other ones I've mentioned.